You don't owe anyone your story. You owe yourself peace. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, learn the art of silence, because not every listener is a friend. And not every shoulder offered to you is clean. Some people don't want to understand your pain. They want to measure it. They want to know how broken you are so they can feel taller. They want to see how much you've fallen so they can remind themselves they're still standing. Don't feed your weakness to those who get full from your struggle. Your story isn't for public consumption. It's sacred. It's raw. It's still healing. When you tell everyone your pain, you reopen your wounds for people who never planned to stop your bleeding. They listen, nod, pretend to care, and then whisper your story like gossip. You see, power is not in speaking. Power is in controlling what you speak. The loudest voice isn't always the strongest. Sometimes silence screams louder than any explanation. Protect your energy like a treasure, because not everyone deserves access to your unfiltered soul. You survived things that broke others, so don't hand that victory to someone who hasn't earned your trust. They'll never understand the nights you cried yourself into strength. They'll never understand how you walked through fire and came out wiser. So why would you waste your breath proving your strength to those who only see your scars? Keep your story within the circle of those who see your soul, not your situation. The real ones don't need explanations. They see your silence and still understand the storm inside you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Let your success tell the story. Let your growth make the noise. Let your silence confuse the ones who doubted you. Because when you stop explaining yourself, you start reclaiming yourself. Don't tell everyone your story. Write it in your results. Speak it through your actions. And let the world wonder what turned your pain into power. One silence protects what words expose, because every word you release is a piece of your power. The moment you speak, you surrender control over how it's received, twisted, or remembered. Silence, on the other hand, is untouchable. It cannot be misquoted. It cannot be used against you. It keeps your truth where it belongs, within your command. Most people talk too soon, revealing dreams to doubters and emotions to the wrong hearts. They give away their strength piece by piece, not realizing that every confession is a weapon in someone else's hands. Silence is not weakness. It's wisdom in its purest form. It's knowing when your words would add noise instead of meaning. When you stay silent, you force the world to guess what's happening inside you. That mystery becomes your armor. People can't attack what they don't understand. They can't destroy what they can't define. In silence, your power grows unseen, like roots beneath the ground, building strength before the storm. Those who rush to speak seek validation. Those who master silence create impact without asking for attention. Silence isn't about hiding. It's about protecting the sacred parts of yourself that the world hasn't earned the right to touch. There's a reason the strongest minds speak less and listen more. They understand that most conversations are traps dressed as trust. Some people don't want to hear your truth. They want to study your weakness. They'll listen, not to understand, but to calculate. Every detail you share becomes a string they can pull later. Silence cuts those strings. It keeps you unpredictable, and in a world that thrives on control, unpredictability is power. Silence also sharpens the voice inside you. When you stop explaining yourself to the world, you start hearing yourself clearly. You begin to understand what truly matters, not who agrees, but what aligns. The quiet moments rebuild you. The space between words heals what noise once damaged. In silence, you reconnect with your purpose. You remember that not everything sacred needs an audience. Every word has energy, and energy must be guarded. When you speak from emotion, you give others access to your inner state. But when you stay silent, you protect that frequency. You stay in command of your peace. You no longer seek to prove anything. You become the proof. The world starts to feel your presence without hearing your story. That's real power, when your silence echoes louder than words ever could. So hold your silence like a blade. Use it with precision. Let it cut through noise, ego, and distraction. Speak only when your words carry more weight than your quiet, because silence doesn't mean you have nothing to say. It means you've already understood what most never will. Not everyone deserves access to your truth, because truth is sacred. It's the rawest part of you, the part that took years of pain, lessons, and self-discovery to shape. When you hand it carelessly to others, you give them a map of your soul, and not everyone who smiles at you deserves to walk inside. Some will enter just to steal your peace, distort your story, and use your honesty as a weapon against you. Protecting your truth isn't being cold, it's being wise. It's knowing that your energy is currency, and not everyone can afford your depth. The moment you open up to someone who hasn't earned your trust, you lose control of your narrative. They'll interpret it through their own insecurities, their own judgment, their own fears. And before you know it, your truth, pure and painful, becomes their gossip, their conversation piece, their entertainment. That's why silence is not just peace, it's protection. It's a filter for authenticity. The ones who truly care will read your energy without needing an explanation. The rest only want details to feed their curiosity, not their compassion. Your truth deserves a safe place to land. It deserves hearts that listen to understand, not ears that listen to react. Most people don't come to hear you. They come to compare themselves to you. They want to know if you failed, how much you've struggled, and whether your scars make them feel better about their own. But you owe no one the privilege of knowing how you blood to become who you are. Keep your truth in trusted hands or keep it within yourself. There is strength in selective vulnerability. Sharing everything isn't honesty, it's exposure. And exposure invites energy that doesn't align with your growth. The world is full of people who look kind but carry envy in silence. Some will pretend to care just to collect your truths, waiting for a moment of weakness to use them against you. Protect your story like a fortress. Let only the loyal inside. Your truth loses its power when placed in careless hands. It becomes diluted, misunderstood, or dismissed by those who haven't walked your path. Only those who have earned your respect through consistency, loyalty, and genuine energy deserve to hold pieces of it. Not because you're better than others, but because your peace is worth guarding. There's something powerful about being known yet unknown. When people can see your growth but can't trace your pain, that's when you've mastered control. You don't owe explanations to those who never invested in your silence. Some will notice the change in you and wonder what happened. Let them. Growth doesn't need an announcement. It only needs protection. Not everyone deserves access to your truth because your truth is power, and power, once given away, rarely returns untouched. Guard it, respect it. Let your life speak what your lips refuse to explain. Through your pain is sacred. Don't offer it to careless hands. Pain is not a story for everyone to hear. It's a transformation meant only for those who understand silence. You walked through storms that others wouldn't survive for a single moment. You carried battles in your chest that no one saw, yet you kept moving. That pain shaped you, refined you, awakened parts of your strength that comfort never could. But not everyone deserves to touch the fire that forged you. Some people don't want to help you heal. They just want to know where it hurts. Your pain is a sacred teacher. It speaks a language that only those who've bled in silence can understand. When you give your pain to people who can't respect it, they will reduce it to drama, to a story, to something they can talk about but never feel. They will dissect your wounds with dirty hands, not realizing they're reopening what you fought hard to close. You don't owe anyone the details of your suffering. The depth of your scars is not for validation. It's a reminder of how far you've come. Most people romanticize pain, but they don't carry its weight. They don't know what it's like to smile while breaking, to forgive when you're still bleeding, to keep your heart pure when the world teaches you bitterness. That's why your pain is sacred, because it purified your soul. It destroyed your illusions, revealed who's real, and rebuilt your strength from ashes. Protect it like something divine. It doesn't belong in conversations that don't lead to understanding. Every time you share your pain with careless hands, you hand them the ability to reopen it. Some people will listen only to satisfy curiosity. Some will fake empathy just to feel powerful in your vulnerability. They will act gentle while secretly enjoying your weakness. But the wise learn to protect their pain until it becomes wisdom. You don't owe your tears to people who never earned your trust. Your pain carries energy, the energy of survival, rebirth, and awakening. When shared with the wrong hearts, that energy is drained. When kept sacred, it turns into clarity, purpose, and quiet strength. The world doesn't need to see your wounds to believe in your strength. Let them see your peace instead. The calm that came after chaos is proof enough. There is beauty in pain that heals in silence. There is power in the soul that bleeds privately and still radiates light publicly. You are not your pain. You are the transformation that came from it. Don't offer that to hands that only know how to take. Keep your story guarded, your lessons close, and your peace untouched. Some will never understand your suffering, and that's fine. It wasn't meant for them. It was meant to build you. For power grows in privacy, not in publicity. The moment you make everything visible, you make yourself vulnerable. Growth needs silence the way fire needs oxygen. Too much exposure and it burns out. The most dangerous thing you can do is announce every step before it's ready to stand. Because when people know your moves, they prepare for your weakness. But when you move in silence, they can't block what they can't see coming. Privacy is not secrecy, it's protection. It's the sacred ground where strength is built before the world gets to witness it. Every powerful transformation happens away from eyes in places where no one claps and no one notices. The roots grow before the tree appears. The warrior trains before the war. The mind sharpens when the crowd is gone. That's how real power is made, unseen, unspoken, but undeniable. Publicity feeds the ego, but privacy feeds the soul. You can't grow when you're constantly explaining, defending, or performing. You need solitude to sharpen your purpose. You need silence to master control. People love to watch your process, not to celebrate you, but to measure you. They'll study your progress, not to learn from it, but to calculate how close they are to your level. Some will quietly hope you fail just so they can feel comfortable in their own stagnation. That's why privacy is power, because it deprives envy of its oxygen. It starves distractions and feeds focus. The less they know, the less they can interfere. When you work privately, your growth becomes unpredictable. You become a storm no one saw coming. People notice results, not intentions. And by the time they realize how far you've come, it's too late for them to stop it. The noise fades, and all that remains is your transformation. Power doesn't announce itself. It arrives silent and unstoppable. In a world addicted to validation, privacy becomes rebellion. Everyone wants to show off their progress, their plans, their potential. But those who truly understand power know it's not about proving, it's about becoming. The loudest one in the room is rarely the strongest. Real strength whispers. It doesn't need attention to exist. It knows its worth without display. Publicity demands performance. Privacy allows preparation. When you stay private, you can fail without judgment, heal without pressure, and rebuild without noise. You can reinvent yourself without carrying the weight of expectation. That's where true power multiplies. In the quiet hours, no one witnesses. The world sees the glow, but never the grind behind it. Let your actions echo louder than your announcements. Let them wonder how you did it without ever asking for attention. Power that grows in privacy becomes unshakable because it's rooted in discipline, not approval. It's the kind of power that doesn't fade when the lights go off. It stays because it was never built for display. It was built for dominance. 5-let results speak louder than explanations, because no matter how much you explain, people will only believe what they see. The world doesn't respect intentions. It respects outcomes. You can talk about your dreams all day, but talk doesn't build empires. Results do. Explanations are for those who doubt, but results silence them forever. Every word you speak before action is just noise, and noise fades fast. Results, on the other hand, echo through time. They remind people that you didn't just speak, you delivered. You don't need to justify your silence when your progress starts to roar. Every step forward, every goal achieved, every battle you win in private becomes a statement louder than any defense you could make. When you start moving differently, they'll question your distance, but your success will answer for you. You don't owe anyone your reasoning. You owe yourself the satisfaction of turning every doubt into proof. People will always have opinions, and opinions are free because they cost nothing to make. But results, they cost discipline, sacrifice, and time. That's why few ever achieve them. Explanations drain energy, but results build legacy. You can't argue with evidence. You can't debate consistency. You can't question transformation that's visible. So stop trying to convince people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Show them through your evolution. The loudest people are usually the least consistent. They announce, they promise, they explain, but their actions never follow through. Power is quiet because it doesn't need to perform. Those who work in silence know that words are temporary, but impact is permanent. When you let your results speak, your silence becomes your authority. You don't need validation because the proof is visible in your growth, your peace, your success. Every time you explain yourself, you give someone power to approve or deny your path. Every time you show results, you reclaim that power. Explanations seek permission, results demand respect. When you stop explaining, you stop defending your worth, you start owning it. You stop talking about what you're going to do and start becoming what you said you would be. Success doesn't need a speech. It's a quiet arrival that makes noise all by itself. The people who once doubted you will pretend they always believed. The ones who mocked your silence will suddenly call it focus. That's the beauty of letting results speak. They rewrite every opinion without a single word from you. Keep your vision sacred, your effort consistent, and your lips sealed until the evidence is undeniable. When your results appear, explanations become irrelevant. The same voices that questioned you will have no choice but to listen to your success, because results don't just speak, they roar. And that roar will always be louder than excuses, doubts, or noise. The less you share, the stronger you become, because every time you speak too soon, you give away a piece of your power. Not everyone deserves to know what's growing inside you. Some people feed on your openness, not your progress. The less they know, the less they can control, judge, or destroy. Strength is born in silence when your plans, emotions, and dreams are protected from the noise of opinions. Privacy gives your energy direction. Oversharing drains it into places it doesn't belong. Every dream dies a little when it's exposed too early. When you share too much, you invite energies that are not aligned with your vision. People project their fears, doubts, and limitations onto what you're trying to build. Suddenly, their voice becomes a weight on your confidence. But when you keep it within, your focus sharpens. You stop defending your goals and start achieving them. Silence becomes your shield protecting what's still becoming. Strength grows when you no longer feel the need to prove, explain, or justify. The less you share, the more you own your journey. You move without distraction, without approval, without interference. You don't ask for opinions because you already know your direction. People can't ruin what they don't know exists. They can't block what they can't see. Keeping your path hidden gives it power to unfold naturally without the pressure of judgment. The strongest people aren't loud. They are disciplined. They don't need validation because they've learned that most people listen to reply, not to understand. When you talk too much about what you're doing, you create expectations, and expectations become cages. But when you move in silence, you move free. You evolve on your own terms without anyone tracking your pace or criticizing your process. Every piece of information you give away becomes a doorway. Some will use that doorway to enter your peace. Others will use it to destroy it. Guard your doors. Guard your dreams. Let only those who've proven their loyalty walk inside. Your strength multiplies when your energy isn't constantly being leaked through unnecessary conversations. Quiet doesn't mean hidden. It means selective. It means you've learned the value of keeping your spirit untouched. People often mistake silence for weakness, but silence is the language of power. It confuses the curious and protects the focused. The less you reveal, the more control you have over your life's narrative. Mystery builds strength because it leaves people guessing, not plotting. You don't need to announce your every move. Your evolution will make the announcement for you. The less you share, the stronger you become because your energy stops scattering and starts building. You stop feeding doubt and start feeding discipline. You stop chasing approval and start chasing mastery. When your power is protected, it grows silently until one day your results appear like thunder, shocking everyone who thought your silence meant nothing was happening.